Loki is the third Marvel Cinematic Universe television series on Disney Plus and stars Tom Hiddleston as Loki, the God of Mischief, and Owen Wilson as Mobius, a character we didn't know we needed so badly. And this show takes place after the events of Avengers Endgame, where Loki had escaped using the Tesseract and is captured by the TVA, aka the Time Variant Authority. I was really excited when they were announcing that they were going to make a Loki show. I was a big fan of WandaVision up until the last two episodes. I didn't quite really feel that they stuck the landing there. I didn't really care for Falcon and Winter Soldier, but Loki I was definitely excited for because I feel that Loki has the best story arc of any character in the MCU. He started as not only just a villain, but the villain in Avengers, the first Avengers movie in 2012. I remember watching that movie and people were cheering when he was getting his ass kicked. And looking at him now, the change and progression of where he was and is now is night and day. It's quite amazing, and that's why I love his story arc. There is always a teeter totter between whether he's a good guy, a bad guy, and you sympathize with this character, you root for him, you hate him, he tricks you as an audience, and that's amazing. And that's why I think Loki is such a great character, and this show is equally as great as he is, because this is hands down the best of the three Marvel shows we've gotten so far. That being said, let's go straight into the pros here. Tom Hiddleston as Loki completely kills it, as he always does. And Owen Wilson as Mobius is so great, and the relationship and the chemistry they have between these two characters is fantastic. The only negative I would say is Owen Wilson doesn't give us his infamous wow.
Wow, that's a good message.
Sophia DiMartino as Sylvie was also very solid. I loved the first episode, and it is kind of a gut wrenching episode. You kind of see Loki's reaction to being told that his failures really elevates everybody else. He sees the death of his mother, which was because of his own doing, and he also sees his own death, which was really gut wrenching. That whole scene was what got me really hooked on the show. There was so much emotion there. You just feel so bad for Loki. There's also a really good mystery here. Similar to WandaVision, you're in need of knowing who exactly is pulling the strings at the TVA, and it just gives you that head scratching moment every episode, and you're so excited to see what happens next week. And this was probably one of the first times I was excited for a Wednesday to come around. I also like how low-key the show is, if that makes any sense. There are moments where he runs into variants of himself. They're backstabbing each other. There's an alligator version of himself, and there's a variant that he even falls in love with, which is the most low-key thing you could do. And technically, this show is also on another level entirely. This is, in my opinion, the best looking MCU property ever in show or film. This is beautiful. There are moments where it seriously looks like you're looking at a painting. There's a scene where Sylvie and Loki are sitting and this world is crumbling, and it just looks so beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, the score here is fantastic by Natalie Holt. Honestly, right after the first episode ended, I hit up Spotify trying to find as many songs as I could. I could only find one. I'm not sure if they released more later. But the score here is also honestly one of the best I've ever heard in a long time from the MCU. Plus, Richard E. Grant as classic Loki. Enough said. Going on to the cons now, there are only 6 episodes, and they still managed to find a way to throw in a filler episode. Kind of feels like an episode and a half, but I just felt like they could have just made it 5 episodes then. It really did have that filler feel. We all know what episode we're talking about here. Episode 3, it has a lot of exposition. And speaking of exposition, there's a lot of it in this show. I understand there's a lot to explain. I really just felt that there was moments of just heavy-handed dialogue explaining what's going on, and the only time it really didn't bother me was in the first episode where it was kind of done in an animated way, which really worked well. Hand-to-hand combat is also really clunky and wasn't choreographed very well in my opinion, And what's with Renslayer's tempad? The security on that thing is very bad because Mobius snatches it and gets all the information he wants. Literally, my iPhone has better security. Thank you, Apple, for that. And also, this isn't a knock on the show, but for some reason, the Timekeepers look like really bad Mortal Kombat characters. So the big question is, did it stick the landing? In my opinion, and there's no spoilers here, it definitely did. The reveal as to who is behind the curtain in the city of Oz is really awesome and really quite terrifying. It really feels like the beginning of something rather than the end, and I thought that was so cool and so awesome. I'm so excited to see what happens next in the MCU. And with that being said, I'm gonna give Loki an A minus. Now I want to know what you guys think. Who did you think was behind the curtain pulling all the strings? Did you get it right? Did you get it wrong? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, make sure to smash the crap out of that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Have your ticket ready. I'll see you guys at the next movie.